everyone, it's Tamari, the Astro Fashionista. Welcome to my channel. Happy New Year, happy 2020, happy almost year of the rat, happy Saturn Pluto conjunction, happy where the US might go to war. I don't know what's going on, but that's relevant to what we're going to talk about today, guys. Before I get into the video, please like this video, press thumbs up. Please press the bell icon for notifications and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This video is all about January 2020. And for me, January 2020 is literally the week starting January 6th. I mean, that kind of sets the tone for what we have in store for January 2020 and almost really for the rest of the year. A lot of astrologers have been talking about this whole Saturn Pluto conjunction coming up because it's a super big deal. It's something that only happens every like 34 years. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I'm just going to talk about it right now because I'm in the flow. But Saturn is the planet of hard work, structure, lessons, enterprise, solid foundation, things that are old and kind of legacy like. And Pluto is not that. Pluto is all about destruction and tearing things apart and enforcing power and just being really like kind of sneakily getting things done, brewing under the things brewing under the surface, psychology, going deep. So these two energies, you guys, are very, very different, but both very, very powerful. And so the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, a conjunction in astrology, let me just bring up my wheel. Ooh. I'm gonna have to scoot back. Sorry, my light is kind of in the way, but let me make sure I have this set. Yeah. So a conjunction is when two planets are sitting right next to each other. They're within like 1 to 2, let's just say 1 to 5 degrees of each other. But a tight exact conjunction is when they're like at the same degree. And so that's happening, you guys. Hold on, I'm like really getting ahead of myself because I have all these notes and all these plans. I'm such a Taurus with my sun in the 6th house, and then I'm feeling my 3 numerology energy. If you haven't watched my numerology video, I'll link it below. Check that out. Feeling very communicative right now. So like I'm jumping all over the place, but I had a plan before I started filming and it's not going to plan, but I'm going to just roll with it. So, the Saturn, okay, I'm going to take a few steps back. This week is really important because for one, and this is the week starting January 6th, and it's the real first week of the year, right? Because everyone's been on vacation over the holidays, and it's like the real first work week. So put this down for a second, come back to this. We actually start January with a full moon lunar eclipse, and that's happening on January 10th. That's Friday. And so what is an eclipse? An eclipse is like, let's say 3 times more powerful than a regular new moon or full moon. So the eclipse that's happening on Friday is a full moon lunar eclipse, meaning it's a full moon, right? So a full moon a full moon occurs when the sun is opposing, it's called an opposition in astrology, opposing the moon. They're at odds. And the sun is masculine energy in astrology. The moon is feminine energy. That's why when you're doing an astrology reading, I can always do an astrology reading if you're interested. I'll link that below as well. When you're doing astrology reading, a lot of the times when you're looking at someone's sun and the moon in their chart, you're either looking at their parents, their mother and their father. It can represent their masculine energy versus their feminine energy. And those are they're luminaries in astrology. They're super, super important. So when the sun and the moon are in odds, they're opposing each other. And it's not really... Opposition is kind of seen as a difficult aspect in astrology, but it's also about balance, right? Because when that means the planets are in opposite signs. So just because they're opposites isn't necessarily a negative thing. It can be, right? Because not all signs are the same. Every sign is different, every zodiac sign. But when opposites attract, right? And opposites provide contrast. We need contrast in life. We can't have things always the same. So that opposition is actually needed. So oppositions aren't always that negative in a chart or in astrology, but they can be depending on what the energy is. So when there's a full moon, and that's where this whole, the term lunatic comes from, lunar, luna, craziness, full moons, werewolves, all that is tied to the opposition between the sun and the moon, the masculine and the feminine energy in astrology. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So the sun is in Capricorn during this time, and we have a lot of planets in Capricorn at the same time. And what does Capricorn represent? Capricorn is an earth sign. It's the builder. It's a builder sign of the zodiac because it's an earth sign. It's ruled by Saturn. Capricorn is all about business. It's all about structure. It's about tradition. It's about hard work. It's about sacrifice. It's about really building a legacy, building something long lasting, building a foundation. And we have a lot of energy in Capricorn right now. So during this eclipse, there's going to be, the sun is going to be in Capricorn. We have Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury is about communication, spreading a large message. We have Saturn in Capricorn, which is Capricorn's ruler. We have Pluto in Capricorn, which is, I described what Saturn and Pluto were at the beginning of this video. But we also have Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, just also moves into Capricorn, and from Sagittarius, which was a totally separate, it's totally different energy. Sagittarius is all about expanding and being optimistic and just, you know, really having a big vision and almost maybe sometimes biting off more that you can chew. Capricorn is about scaling down, and it's Saturn ruled sign. It's about being really industrious and not overextending yourself. So Jupiter just moved into a sign that's actually considered to be in fall in. It's not naturally comfortable there, but it's needed. And then we also have the South Node in Capricorn. And the South Node, the North and South Node, the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. The North Node is almost like where you're going, or Rahu and Ketu in Hindu, Vedic astrology, whatever you want to call it. The North Node is where you're moving into in this lifetime, and the South Node is about what you're letting go. So there's this whole, okay, so now I can pull back up the chart so you can visually see what I'm talking about. So going back to this, so as you can see, there's all this Capricorn energy here at the top, and it's opposing the moon down here and the North Node. On this same day, Uranus, which has been sitting perusing through Taurus since last year, is going to go direct. It's going to start moving again, and it's been retrograde for the last 5 months or so. So to summarize all of this, because that's all you guys care about unless you're really into learning the astrology, this is, my interpretation of this is a balance between masculine and feminine energy, nurturing and business, letting things go, and bringing change into your life and welcoming it into your life and not resisting it. Because with all this Capricorn energy here, the inkling is to keep things the same, to go with the status quo, to work hard to build something as well. But Pluto there is like, nuh-uh, we're destructing things, we're tearing things down. So the way you think that you should be doing things is not necessarily the way that you're going to do it. And you might not be aware of that until this energy comes to play. So after Friday, the conjunction actually happens Sunday. So this eclipse happens on Friday. The Saturn Pluto exact conjunction happens Sunday, but this energy is all coming to play over the weekend. It's like, what is going to be eclipsed out of your life? And when I say eclipse out of your life, eclipses a lot of times bring new beginnings and endings. And because it's a full moon and full moons are about endings, that tells me there's something that's being excreted from your life. Because the South Node is the dragon's tail. That's what you want to excrete and let go. So we're all being called, and I'll go through where this might be happening for each sign in a minute. We're all being called to let something go that we've been holding on to for a long time in order to move forward. And it's going to happen quickly. Uranus, it's going to happen quickly, out of the blue. And it's going to happen whether we want it or not. Now, this might sound dramatic and scary, but it's not. I think this is why I do these videos. I think this is why I'm into the astrology, because if you're prepared, you can get ahead of this. So if there's something in your life that you've been holding on to, something that's outdated and old, and you've been really stuck in your way, how can you get ahead of that and really make the first steps towards bringing the change? Are you embodying this masculine and feminine? Are you balancing masculine and feminine energy in your life? Are you being too hard on yourself, and you're working too hard, and you're not spending time with your family, and you're not taking care of your health, and you're not nurturing yourself? If you're not, you're being called Cancer. Cancer is all about nurturing. It's the mother in the chart. So you're being called to be more nurturing. On the flip side, if you're only taking care of yourself, and you're being afraid to step out into the world, you're not, taking care of your business, you're sleeping too much, you're, eating too much, Capricorn, it's a balancing of the energy. You need both. We need all the energy of the signs in our chart. So this is going to be I'm interested to see what happens not only globally, but in everyone's chart. Let me know after you watch this video and you come back if something, happens in your chart. But let's go through the signs and see well, first, before I do that, I'm going to quickly tell you the other things that are happening. Sorry, I told you I'm all over the place. I'm going to tell you the other things that are happening this month, just very briefly, because to me, this is the star of January. So some of the other things that are happening in January, Venus right now is in Aquarius. It's going to move into Pisces, where it's actually exalted. So that'll be a nice change for the next 4 weeks after it moves, and that's going to happen on, what day does that happen? That's going to happen on January 13th. So that'll be more of like romantic energy, very inspiring, creative. It's good for, depending on where it's in your chart, for relationships. So that's going to occur. And then on January 16th, Mercury is going to leave Capricorn. It's going to go into Aquarius. Aquarius is actually an air sign. A lot of people think it's a water sign. It's an air sign. And air signs are all about communication, getting a message across, thinking, writing, networking, and Mercury is all those things as well. So this is very good for communicating an innovative idea, because Aquarius is all about innovation and being eccentric. It's good for writing, it's good for communication, it's good for thinking outside of the box, and just being really objective in your thinking. And then the sun is also going to move into Aquarius on January 20th. Kind of reinforcing a lot of that Aquarian humanitarian energy. The focus moves from to more of like a collective energy, like caring more about people as a whole. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of things coming up with this whole Iranian war, and a lot of talk about the presidency and the presidents. Aquarius rules humanitarianism. A lot of the presidents, the most presidents we've had in the United States have been both either Aquarius or Scorpio, because it is a sign about being detached. So to me, February is going to be all about a lot of government politics. Not like it always isn't, but there's going to be a lot of focus on that, or the end of January going into February. And then we have an Aquarius moon new moon on the 24th. That is a Friday. So this moon, the moon travels really fast. So by the time it gets to the 24th, it's going to be up here. And new moons are beginnings. So full moons are endings, new moons are beginnings. It's in Aquarius. It's a great time to come up with some new eccentric creative idea, and start something new that uses a lot of mental energy. At the same time, we also have Chinese New Year happening the next day on the 25th. Chinese New Year occurs when the sun is in Aquarius, and it's the first new moon when the sun is in Aquarius, or that falls when that happens. And it's the year of the rat. I'm a rat. I hate saying that. Not a sexy animal whatsoever, but I just realized, oh shoot, you're the rat. It's the first, I think that means it's a new cycle for the Great Race, so a new 13-year cycle in Chinese astrology, which I know some about, but I'm not by any means an expert. And rats are very resourceful. They're very cunning. If you read the story of the Great Race, the rat won the race first by cunning. Being cunning is, yeah, cunning's a word, right? Being manipulative, I guess, or just being like kind of shady. It's not something us rats are proud of, but hey, I didn't ask to be born that year. So that's how the rat actually won the race. So I think for all of us, that means just being like, how can we be, what's the word I'm looking for? Clever. Being clever, thinking outside of the box, coming up with new solutions, just using our mind a lot, which is funny because that's very Aquarian type of energy as well. So year of the rat occurring around the same time. So yeah. So now I'm going to finally get into how this Saturn Pluto conjunction eclipse energy might affect all 12 signs. Okay, Aries, what are you being called to eclipse out of your life and change? Something having to do with your career and life purpose and your status in the world. Is there something that you really think you should be doing that you're not doing right now? Maybe you've been working a career that you're ready for a change. You've been on this journey because it's what you thought your parents thought you should do, or your friends thought you should do, and you're not feeling it anymore. And maybe you're really being called to do something else and take charge of your destiny and let go of a career that no longer serves you. South Node is about letting go, and that's in Capricorn. It's in your 10th house. So what are you going to let go right now? And this is for Aries or Aries rising. So if you're Aries rising, this actually might resonate more with you. You guys, if you don't know your rising sign, you can go to my website, astrofashionista.com, your zodiac, and run it for free so you can find out your rising, because I find that usually resonates more with people. So yeah, Aries, what are you going to let go career-wise? If you're a Taurus, you're already going through a lot of change. Taurus suns are going through change. Taurus rising are going through change. Taurus moons are going through change, or if it hasn't happened yet, it's going to occur. This is a long 7-year transit, Uranus being in Taurus. So what are you being called to let go? Something around the way you learn, the way you travel, mentors. Is there a mentor that's in your life that you don't connect with anymore? You need a new person to connect with? Are you thinking about going to school? Are you in school now? You might be getting a master's degree. Maybe it's actually time to graduate. Maybe you want to leave your program. If you want to leave your program because it's not for you, by all means, it's your life. Do what you want to do. My husband did that. He left a master's program, went to a different one because it didn't work for him. So don't feel like you have to follow the status quo, which is Capricorn, status quo, to fulfill your destiny. You can do whatever you want. Uranus is calling you to make change in your life, and it's up to you to make the change. But if you don't make the change, usually change happens to you. So you want to be the initiator of the change. Are you thinking about traveling? Are you thinking about going abroad? Are you thinking about moving abroad? That could be a big, huge change in your life. Very Uranus in the first house with all this 9th house energy. Maybe you're thinking about moving to another city, another state, another country. Usually it's faraway places when it's connected to the 9th house. Or maybe you're just really questioning your spirituality and your belief systems. Maybe you have an outdated way of thinking. Maybe the religion you are doesn't work for you anymore. You're questioning that, and that's okay, because life is about change. So yeah, Taurus. Gemini, there's a lot of deep rooted things that are happening, Gemini rising, in your life right now. You're thinking a lot about things that are hidden, things that people don't see or know about you, things beneath the surface, things that are taboo. Maybe you're having thoughts of things that you are afraid to share with others, and you're being called to change the way you think. Your psychology is changing. You have Uranus here in your 12th house, and that's all about the subconscious. So you're already changing your belief systems. So maybe someone is leaving your life, and it might not be a literal death. It can be a psychological death of someone leaving, and leaving so that you can change your psyche, so that you can be free. Maybe you feel chained by someone, or chained by an outdated way of thinking, of being, and you're really ready to change the way you think. You're ready to change all the deep, dark things about yourself, so that you can transform and become a new person, especially with Pluto there. Pluto is all about change and transformation, and so is the 8th house. So yeah, that's something that you might be changing right now. Oh, another thing I forgot to talk about for Gemini rising, Gemini, debt. If you're holding on to a lot of debt, because the 8th house can rule debt, maybe you're tired of it and you're finally ready to make a change and just get rid of like burden, because debt is burden. It literally hunts you around. So maybe it's just like getting your finances in order, saying no to credit cards, and really, you know, starting to just use cash and be in the positive, not the negative. Cancer. Okay, so Cancer rising. There's something going on with your relationships. This can be love relationships. This can be business relationships, but they're being transformed in a way that's probably very uncomfortable for you, because you are a creature of habit. And so with all this Capricorn energy, it's holding on, it's sticking, it's trying to stick to something. Let that relationship go if it's not working. Relationships are not easy all the time, but they shouldn't be super hard. And I think people say, well, relationships are hard work, marriage is hard work. Yes, but not that hard. If it goes against your spirit, if it goes against who you are, what you stand for, if you're not having a good time, if you're arguing all the time, if you're not in harmony, it tells me that Cancer, there might be a relationship you're holding on to, business, partnership, possibly friendships, but more something closer, some sort of relationship that's really significant. And if it's not letting it go, it's redefining how it looks. So if it's been a certain way for a long time, maybe it's changing and it's going to look a different way now. And that's okay. You also have Uranus in your 11th house of friends, groups, and associations. So if you let this go, someone new might come in. Uranus is going direct. So someone new might come in and really knock your socks off, and it might be, you know, why did I hold on to this person for so long? So that's a positive way to look at it. And the North Node also is about moving forward, moving into a new direction. So that again, emphasizing the need to like stop holding on to old and move to the new. So Leo and Leo rising, there's things happening surrounding your health, your everyday work, pets. Maybe it's time for you to change your work environment. You do have Taurus here at the top of your chart, your midheaven, and Uranus is there. Uranus or Taurus rules your 10th house. If you know you're a Leo rising. Uranus is all about change. It's already wanting to change your career direction, bringing new opportunities. And right now, whatever job you're in, maybe it's just not working for you anymore. Maybe that day-to-day routine is boring for you. You're used to it. It's something easy for you. Maybe you put a lot of years into it and you're afraid that, you know, you're wasting the years, but really you're being called to take a risk. You have been put in all those years and you're an expert now. Maybe it's time to go make a change in a career and in your work. And maybe leaving a job will put you in another career direction. Uranus going direct. And now it's time for you to even take a whole new path, a path you didn't know was possible. But you need to be open to the change. And the psychological holding on to the past, which is the Cancer moon in your 12th house, holding on to the past won't serve you. It's really taking a toll on your psychology. So it's time to change, disrupt, Pluto, disrupt, break down old traditions, Saturn, and move towards a new direction. Uranus going direct, Taurus, in your career. This also could be related to your health. Maybe you've been unhealthy. Maybe you've been wanting to make these health changes, but you've been, you know, scared to, or you didn't have the money to, or you want to do a meal service. I don't know. Whatever related to your health, now is probably the time to do it, because you don't want something to happen where you could have prevented something from happening if you just took better care of yourself. So that's another way to look at it as well. Virgo and Virgo rising. So this is actually, eclipse is happening in an area of your chart that's actually more about fun, romance, creativity. So maybe it's, intuitively speaking to me, you need more of that in your life, Virgo or Virgo rising. Maybe it's been where you have been working so hard and, you know, going against everyone who's been inviting you out, or, you know, you've been working towards a goal, and now you're being called to incorporate a little bit more whimsy into your life, a little bit more fun, a little bit more creativity. Virgo is a sign that's very methodical and structure oriented, but a lot of Virgos have a lot of it creativity expressed. Just look at Beyonce or Michael Jackson or Nas or all the other Virgos that are fabulous and, you know, very geniuses at their craft. So maybe you're being called to be more expressive, more self-expressive. The sun is there. The sun is all about self-expression, and it's in the house of self-expression, the 5th house. Maybe if it's not that, are you thinking about children? Are you thinking, maybe you're pregnant, maybe your spouse is pregnant, maybe you're thinking about children, maybe you're thinking about how children might change your life, and you're kind of a little afraid because, you know, once you have these children, things might change for you, and you know nothing will stay the same. Well, that's okay. Life is about evolution and changing, so there shouldn't be anything to fear. Yeah, so that's Virgo and Virgo rising. Libra. So Libra, there's a lot going on whenever it's in the axis 1st, 7th, 4th, and 10th. There's things that are changing all around in your life. So there's things happening in your home life, the area of your home and family and foundation and parents. Maybe it's that you've been holding on to a way of being and thinking that you learned when you were a child, and it's really holding you back, and you're not able to move forward, maybe even in your career, because you have this way of thinking that is outdated. Saturn is tradition. So maybe the tradition is up. You know, start your own new tradition. You don't have to do what everyone else does. You don't have to do what your family did just because they did it. Do what calls your spirit. Whatever calls your spirit, do that. And so maybe those traditions, those family values are breaking down, or something surrounding your family and your home life and where you lived, you're kind of letting that go so that you can move forward, because you have a destiny to fulfill. 10th house, the top of your chart is a destiny point. You have a destiny to fulfill. It's an emotional. Maybe there was an issue of balancing of masculine and feminine energy. The moon is the mother, the sun is the father, or vice versa in the chart. Maybe there was an imbalance there, and now you're learning how to balance that out so that you can have a more positive life moving forward. And you have Uranus in your 8th house, which is about, you know, it's money from your partner, but it's also a very spiritual house and about death. So again, letting things go. This is a long-term transit, letting something go from the past so that you can move forward to the future. Okay, Scorpio. Scorpio and Scorpio rising. How you communicate is changing. Scorpio risings are it's a private sign. It's a sign that doesn't necessarily love to be in the spotlight. They move in the background. Where Leo might be more outgoing in the spotlight, or a sign like Gemini, a Scorpio rising, you're moving, you're making moves, but people don't see it. And so you're now being called to step out and communicate something. And it could be in a way that you've never done it before. And it doesn't mean that maybe you're all of a sudden going to start being this extreme extrovert. That doesn't mean that. It just means, what message do you have to get out to the world? Is there something that you've been holding back, you've been working on, that you're ready to share? Maybe it's going to benefit you financially. You just had Jupiter move out of your second house. You should have got financial gains. Well, maybe you're communicating a way to help other people in some way. Maybe your relationship with your siblings are changing, if you have siblings. Or your environment changed. Your immediate environments, maybe you moved. Your neighborhood changed. You're starting a new relationship and a new life in a new neighborhood. That could be a literal thing. You also have Uranus in your 7th house of relationships, marriage. So it could be that maybe you met someone. Maybe you're going to be moving, or you're in a long distance relationship now, all the blue. Because the 3rd house also rules short distance travel. Maybe it's not a very long distance relationship, but maybe it's like a couple 100 miles and you have to, constantly visit this person, or you just met someone, Uranus and Taurus moving direct, and you're meeting someone new, and now you're going to start going to see them. I don't know. This is another way to interpret it. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Your finances and your values, what you value, are changing. You're being called to break patterns when it comes to financials. You're being called to get things in order, because if you don't, it could be detrimental. I don't mean to sound dramatic, but you want to get ahead of anything. Of course, my memory card got full, so I had to start. So Sagittarius, starting over. Okay, so Sagittarius, you're being called really to evaluate your finances, your resources, how you value, what you value, how you're spending your money. Are you saving? Are you using your financial leverage to the best of your ability? Do you need to save for the future? Do you want to buy a home? Do you want to buy stocks? All of these things you're being called to think about and really change the way you use your resources and how you view yourself, your self-esteem, because the 2nd house is also linked to how you value yourself. Are you valuing yourself based on money? Does that need to be changed? Are you being called to change the way you think and really know that, true value and self-worth comes from within, and then all the other external things happen because you value yourself, not the other way around. Yeah, and you're being called to expand the way you view your finances too. Lots of opportunities should be coming to you. You have Uranus in the 6th house, so this could mean new job opportunities. Uranus is going direct, so maybe you're literally going to increase your income because you're going to get a better job. Something as simple as that. Capricorn. Capricorn, you have a lot going on. Capricorn and Capricorn rising. Capricorn, the show, all eyes on you right now. There's so many planets in Capricorn happening right now. This eclipse, it's a major opposition. It's opposition coming from Cancer in your 7th house of relationships. So how are your relationships changing you? How are your relationships affecting you? Are you around the right people? Are you in the right relationship? Do you have the right partner? Do you have the right business partner? Maybe you need a new partner. Maybe you're going to meet a new business partner. You probably need to let something go within yourself, something that has to do with yourself, because Pluto is about destructing. You've been changing for the past couple years. There's been a lot on your plate. You've been very contemplative. You've been getting your ducks in a row. You feel like you're really climbing up a mountain, like you're moving through mud and you're not really making it somewhere, but you are. You're making a lot of strides. And this eclipse is about something ending or being changed in your life so that you can finally move forward. You do have Uranus and Taurus here in your 5th house of, creativity, children, gambling. Are you willing to take a gamble on something so that you can gain something? There's something to gain. You're more of a conservative sign, but maybe you're feeling called to make a big leap in some way. And it's definitely going to have to do with somebody else. Someone else is involved in your journey. Probably the first person you think of, or someone that's the closest to you, is involved in this psychological journey, this change that's coming into your life. Old structures are dying for you. You're redefining yourself. You're going to have a new normal moving forward. Aquarius. Aquarius. So you have a lot brewing underneath the surface for you. All the changes that are happening to you are on a psychological level. Aquarius, Aquarius rising. These are things that are not seen by other people. They're hidden. It's your subconscious. There's a lot on your plate. There's a lot on your mind. You're getting ready to start a new journey soon within the next 12 months. There'll be some of these planets moving into your sign, into Aquarius. And Aquarius is about breaking boundaries and going beyond limits. It's a Saturn ruled sign. Saturn was actually Aquarius's traditional ruler, but Uranus is the modern ruler. And you have Uranus in your 4th house of home right now. So something about your family foundation, the way you've done things has been changing. This is a long-term transit, this Uranus transit, 7 years. So things in your family and home life have been changing. Your psychology, how you've looked at things, your traditions within your family, and you're not really a traditional sign. You are a person who's about breaking boundaries. So you're all for this. You're all for this change. Maybe you're moving. Maybe you're literally moving your home. Maybe there's changes happening within your home. Maybe there's, construction or something like that. But everything that's happening is tying together because psychologically you're changing. You're becoming a new person. You're on the brink of a new beginning. And then Pisces and Pisces rising. So your social circle, there's things that are changing about your social circle. You're a sign that is very trusting and loving and caring. But is everyone deserving of that love? Are you holding on to friendships and people and groups that you're a part of that no longer serve you? Maybe these things were things that you needed 10 years ago, but now you don't. Now you're independent. Now you're ready to move forward, and it involves letting some people go in order to make those changes in your life. And actually making those changes will make you more creative. Moon in the 5th house. They'll make you more creative. They'll inspire you. If you're not around people that are you're around people that aren't inspiring you, then you're doing something wrong, because you are a sign that you absorb people's energy. Pisces, Pisces rising. You take on people's stuff. And so if it's not serving you, it's not something that you need to let it go. So this eclipse, this full moon might be spotlighting what needs to change in your social circle, and who needs to leave your social circle, because you are moving into a new way of creative energy, especially with Neptune, your ruler, your modern ruler in the 1st house. You want to be creative, and Neptune is about being deceived. Don't let people deceive you anymore. 1st house, Neptune, you. 11th house, other people. Don't let people take your joy. Don't let people deceive you. Don't let people bring you down. The weight of Capricorn, that's a very heavy energy. People might be weighing you down. So you have also Uranus in the 3rd house. That's immediate environment. That's siblings. Possibly some changes happening there. Possibly some travel. Maybe you're going to meet some new people, so you won't be sad about it. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I know it doesn't seem like it, but a lot goes into making YouTube videos, and I really want to bring good content. If there's anything you want me to make a video about in the future, please leave it below in the comments. I said it in my last video, I'm really trying to shake things up. I want to bring more lifestyle videos and share more of who I am versus just lecturing. So if there's anything you want to know, whether it's home decor or fashion or I don't know, just like vlogs or whatever, let me know. I'll always have some sort of spiritual, astrology, mystical element to it, because that's just who I am, the Astro Fashionista. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.